안녕하세요. Essential Korean K-쌤입니다. 드디어, finally, in today's episode, we'll be learning about past tense in Korean. In previous episodes, I've mentioned that I would make an episode to formally introduce the topic, and we finally arrive at that point. I'll explain the general past tense form first, and then we'll be going through a number of situational examples in the hopes that you'll be able to make your own past sentences by the end of the episode. Let's get right into it. In Korean, the past tense in the informal polite style is indicated by adding the double consonant 상시옷, which is the past tense marker, followed by 어요, which marks the speech style to be informal polite, to the verb continuous stem. A quick example to illustrate this. If you want to say, I ate dinner, we focus on the verb 먹다 or to eat in the dictionary form. Remove the 다 from 먹다 to get the verb stem, 먹. Then add 어 to get 먹어 as the verb continuous stem. And finally, add the double consonant 상시옷 plus 어요 to get 먹었어요 to be able to say you ate something. For our original sentence, I ate dinner, you would say 저는 저녁 먹었어요. What about for the verb 오다, to come? Remove the 다 to get 오 as the verb stem. Add 아 to get 오아, which contracts to 와 as the verb continuous stem. And finally, add the double consonant 상시옷 plus 어요 to get 왔어요. By the way, if you need a review to understand why 아 was added to 보 and 어 was added to 먹 to make the verb continuous stem, you may find it helpful to listen to episode 14, or better yet, head over to course 2-3 on our website and study the grammar points on this. A quick reminder though, making the verb continuous stem is based on the vowel present in the last syllable of the verb stem. So, the basic steps you can follow in the beginning is to 1. Think of the verb you would like to express in the past tense. 2. Isolate the verb continuous stem. And 3. Add the past tense form to the verb continuous stem and in the speech style of your choice. In our case, the informal polite style. Now, you lead an example we go through together. Imagine that you feel great this morning because you slept so well. You want to tell me you slept well yesterday. What's the first step? It's to think of the verb we have to use. In this case, it is 자다. What's the next step? It is to extract the verb continuous stem, aka VCS, from 자다 to get 자아, which we contract to one syllable, just 자, given that both the first and second character end in the same vowel, a. Now, do you remember the final step? It's to add the past tense marker, the double consonant named 상시옷, with 어요 to make the verb in the informal polite style. You can omit the pronoun for I since it is understood in the context, so we'll just need 3 parts: yesterday, well, and slept. Since the verb comes at the end of a sentence, we'll have 잤어요 for slept at the end. A Korean adverb is usually placed right in front of the verb it modifies, so we'll have 잘, which means well, before 잤어요. And we'll place 너무, which is another adverb with the meaning to or very, before 잘, to emphasize 잘. And add 어제, which means yesterday, before 너무 잘. So, what do we have when we combine all of them together? That's right, we have 어제 너무 잘 잤어요, which means I slept so well yesterday. Imagine you're feeling very refreshed and your head is clear from having slept so well yesterday. Repeat after me to say, I slept so well yesterday in Korean. Yesterday, 어제 very 너무 well 잘 slept 잤어요. 어제 너무 잘 잤어요. 어제 너무 잘 잤어요. Very good. Let's try another example. Your Korean neighbor called you and tells you he tried to reach you after dinner to go for a walk together, but you didn't pick up the phone. You happened to be taking a walk in the evening with your friend. How would you tell your neighbor, I took a walk with my friend, in Korean? We can get quicker at combining the first and second steps, knowing that the verb for taking a walk is 산책하다. We get the verb continuative stem to be 산책해. A quick point of review. Even though 산책하, the verb stem ends in the vowel a, the verb 하다 has an irregular verb continuative stem. So we have 산책해 for the VCS of 산책하다. Now all we need to do is add a double consonant 상시옷 plus the 어요 ending to get 산책했어요 as the past tense form of 산책하다 in the informal polite style. Try completing the sentence to say, with my friend, I took a walk. You were correct if you said, 내 친구하고 산책했어요. Repeat after me to tell your neighbor, with my friend, I took a walk. With my friend, 내 친구, followed by the particle 하고, which means and, or as in this case, with. 내 친구하고 took a walk. 산책했어요. 내 친구하고 산책했어요. 내 친구하고 산책했어요. Okay, I think we have the basics down. Let's get into more specific situational examples. Let's say you and your friends who are very much into K-dramas are trying to find what you should watch next. They suggest 25, 21 or 25, 21 and are raving about Kim Tae-ri's performance. You, however, have already watched the drama. How would you tell them that you've already watched the drama? Think of how you would get the past tense form of the verb 보다, which means to see or to watch. We form the past tense form of the verb 보다 by first getting the verb continuative stem. We get it by adding a to the stem 보 to get 보아, which contracts to 봐, to which we add 써요. Thus, finally, we have 봤어요, which means watched in the informal polite style. Let's come back to what we wanted to say. I watched 25, 21 so that we can watch a new drama. You should say 25, 21 벌써 봤어요. 25, 21, the name of the drama. 벌써, already, and 봤어요, watched. Let's tell them, I watched 25, 21. Subtly but surely suggesting we should watch a new one. Please repeat after me. 25, 21. 벌써 봤어요. 25, 21. 벌써 봤어요. 25, 21. 벌써 봤어요. Another example. Imagine yourself visiting Korea and you've just met up with your ex-colleagues who worked in the US office with you but have moved back to Korea. It's been a couple of years since you've last seen them. The first expression you and your colleagues are likely to exchange is 오래간만이에요, which means long time no see. Let's practice this very useful expression. 오래간만이에요. 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 Remember, with words that are more difficult to pronounce, it's often good to work your way from the back. Let's do that for 오래간만이에요, which is an expression many students find a bit tricky to pronounce. Please repeat after me. 이에요. 많이에요. 오래간만이에요. Let's do it one more time. 이에요. 많이에요. 오래간만이에요. Now, this expression, 오래간만이에요, is often contracted to be one syllable less as 오랜만이에요. I don't consciously choose which one to use, and there isn't much of a distinction in definition or usage. You may find 오랜만이에요 to be easier to say and have a preference for 오랜만이에요 to 오래간만이에요. Whatever the case, they both work and it's good to practice both. Please repeat after me to say long time no see in Korean. This time one syllable less than the first one. 이에요. 많이에요. 오랜만이에요. One more time. 이에요. 많이에요. 오랜만이에요. If it's been a really long time, you can even throw in the adverb 너무, which means very. Let's try that out. 많이에요. 오랜만이에요. 너무 오랜만이에요. After the exchange of a few happy greetings, they ask you what you have been doing since your arrival. Well, it's time to show off your handling of the past tense form. Let's say first you met another former colleague 정수, and 2. You ate 수육, a lesser known Korean meat dish, and 3. You drank soju, which is a famous Korean alcoholic beverage. If you never tried soju, imagine a lighter version of vodka. And 4. You went to the Namsan Tower and the folk village. This may be a lot, but when you actually come to Korea, your trip will be filled with meeting, eating, drinking, and going to different places, right? So let's make sure we'll be ready to tell all about your action-packed trip to your Korean friends back home after your return. So again, the verbs of the 4 actions are to meet, to eat, to drink, and to go. I'll introduce the dictionary form first and then the informal polite forms in the present tense, and notice how the verb stem VS and the verb continuative stem VCS reveal themselves in the different forms. To meet, 만나다, and this in its informal polite form in the present tense, 만나요. Next, to eat, 먹다, and this in the informal polite present tense, 먹어요. Next, to drink, 마시다, and its informal polite present tense, 마셔요. And finally, to go, 가다, and its informal polite present tense, 가요. You'll notice that in the informal polite form, if you just get rid of the 요, you'll be left with the VCS of the verb continuative stem, as the informal polite in the present tense is formed by the combining the VCS and 요. To the VCS, you'll add the double consonant 쌍시옷 plus 어요 directly to get the past tense in the 요 form. In the present tense, I'll repeat the verbs in the informal polite style. 만나요, meet. 먹어요, eat. 마셔요, drink. 가요, go. I'll extract the 4 VCS of the verbs and say them in the same order. 만나, 먹어, 마셔, and 가. Now I'll add 써요 to the verb continuous stem and say the past tense verbs in the same order. 만났어요, met. 먹었어요, ate. 마셨어요, drank. And 갔어요, went. What's the first thing that you wanted to say you did in Korea? Yes, you met another former colleague of yours, 정수. Repeat after me to tell your 2 ex-colleagues just that. 정수 씨, met. 만났어요. 정수 씨, 만났어요. 정수 씨 만났어요. By the way, you added she after 정수 for politeness, which also indicates that you and 정수 probably speak in the polite style, not 반말, aka the direct or intimate speech style. Next, you also want to tell them you had 수육, the boiled pork belly dish usually served with very salty baby shrimp dip. Repeat after me to say you had 수육. 수육, ate, 먹었어요. 수육, 먹었어요. 수육 먹었어요. Very nice. Then, after that, you also want to tell them that, of course, you tried soju, the famous Korean liquor. By the way, you will often see drinking scenes with a few green bottles on the table in K-dramas. And I would say it is indeed quite an accurate depiction of what you will see in real life. Now repeat after me to tell them you drank soju as well. 소주 too, 소주도 drank. 마셨어요. 소주도 마셨어요. 소주도 마셨어요. Finally, you take out your phone to show them the photos of the panoramic view of Seoul taken from Namsan Tower, aka N Seoul Tower, and also the photos of cool traditional houses from the Korean folk village. Now repeat after me to say, I went to Namsan Tower and the folk village as well. Namsan Tower and the folk village followed by the destination particle 에 and the additive particle 도. 남산 타워하고 민속촌에도 went 갔어요. 남산 타워하고 민속촌에도 갔어요. 남산타워하고 민속촌에도 갔어요. Now, what are the 4 things you did in Korea? Yes, meeting 정수, eating 수육, also having soju, and going to Namsan Tower and the folk village as well. Let's tell them all at once. 정수 씨 만났어요. 그리고 수육 먹었어요. 그리고 소주도 마셨어요. 그리고 남산타워하고 민속촌에도 갔어요. You'll say this by yourself, but of course after practice. Let's do this and see if it helps. Place a mental dot on each of the 4 actions in the order you did. meeting, eating, drinking, and going. Now, repeat after me as you connect the mental dots on the actions. I met 정수 씨. 정수 씨 만났어요. And I ate 수육. 그리고 수육 먹었어요. And I also drank 소주. 그리고 소주도 마셨어요. And I went to 남산 Tower and the folk village as well. 그리고 남산 타워하고 민속촌에도 갔어요. Again, imagine yourself telling your ex-colleagues these. I met 정수, and I ate 수육, and I also drank soju, and I went to 남산 Tower and the folk village as well. It's all yours now. I'll wait, so please go ahead and tell them the 4 fun things you did in Korea. Great job, everyone. Now, some of you may be thinking, isn't this a perfect time to use the co-conjunctive? If that's you, bonus points to you, because it sure is. And we'll be covering that in the next episode. A slight cliffhanger and also an invitation to challenge yourself to review the previous 2 episodes, trying to see if you can piece together how to combine the sentences with the co-conjunctive on your own. You now have the tools to talk about past actions of you or someone else. We'll move on to more advanced structures in the next episode where we put everything we've learned together thus far. Now, I have a quick announcement. If you enjoyed the instructions of this podcast and have been hoping for more structure, you may be interested in the 10-week program I'm hosting, and you'll be able to find more information on our website on the cohort program page under Learn. All right, that's it for today's episode. Stay healthy, everyone, and I'll see you next time.